A very good evening, Sukhihotu, everyone. Welcome to the Buddhist Mahavihara's Friday evening Dhamma sharing here on the Buddhist Mahavihara's Dhammadana series. This evening we have to start a little early compared to our normal time at 8:30 because our speaker is in Melbourne, Australia, and there's a 3-hour time difference. It's now 10 p.m. In Melbourne. It's quite late for Dhamma sharing, but we are also very glad and appreciative of the fact that we have our speaker who is very glad to give this Dhamma talk even though it's so late in the night. So without much ado, I'd like to invite Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta to join us in the studio. Good evening, Bhikkhuni. Welcome to the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page and our Dhammadana series. Now, Bhikkhuni is not unknown to Buddhist Mahavihara. She has been to Buddhist Mahavihara many times. She has stayed with us, and she has also conducted many Dhamma sharings with us over the many years that she's been here in Kuala Lumpur. For those of you who are not familiar with Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta, let me read her profile quickly, and then we can get started with this evening's Dhamma sharing. Now, Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta is based in Melbourne and is the founder and spiritual director of the International Centre for Inner Peace and Happiness in Melbourne, Australia. She's also the director of the Nisala Arana International Meditation Centre in Kalutara, Sri Lanka, and also a Buddhist chaplain at the RMIT University in Melbourne. Venerable was educated at Moses College and later at Devi Balika. She started a career as a medical scientist in Australia, following her degree in biomedicine from Monash University. However, the Dhamma set her life view onto a different paradigm. In 2007, Venerable was ordained in Buddha Gaya as a samaneri by the General Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society in India, Venerable P. C. Vili Mahathera. In 2010, Venerable received her Upasampada, a higher ordination, under the tutelage of Venerable Dr. M. Punnaji Mahathera, Venerable Dr. Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and several senior Sangha members, including Venerable Kirama Vimala Jodi and Bhikkhuni Dhamma Shanti at the Deka Duvala Bhikkhuni Training Center in Sri Lanka. Now, as I mentioned, Venerable Bhikkhuni is a very renowned Dhamma teacher and meditation master with over 35 years of experience. So without much ado, I'd now like to invite Bhikkhuni to start this evening's Dhamma sharing entitled How to Apply Buddhism in Daily Life, which is actually part 2. We had part 1 last Friday, and this is part 2, the continuation to last week's Dhamma sharing. So without much ado, please, I'd like to invite Bhikkhuni to start this evening's Dhamma sharing.
Sadhu, sadhu. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddammang Nirajasansu Sunantu Sagha Mukadang Dhammasavana kalu vayam padanta Dhammasavana kalu vayam padanta Dhammasavana kalu vayam padanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. With the permission of the Mahasangha, may I speak the words in the Dhamma? Dear devotees in the Dhamma. So happy to be with you tonight, even though it's late night here. I'm so happy to share the Dhamma with you all. And I hope you all had a good week and looking forward to a peaceful weekend. And so let's see whether we could learn something today and put it to practice from tonight and on the weekend and then for the rest of your life. Because during the weekend, it's easy for you. You have more time, free time. Because we hear a lot of Dhamma. There is so much Dhamma available now. We listen to so much Dhamma. But we still see that very few apply it into their day-to-day life. Due to being so busy, due to being not understanding this, due to not understanding the consequences, and not understanding the power of your thoughts, power of your speech, power of your actions, not seeing the karma phala vipaka, not having that samma drushti, and for various many reasons, we are not applying the Dhamma that we listen, we hear, we don't apply them. So what I meant by the weekend is coming, so at least there is some time that you can take off from your day-to-day busy life and start to reflecting on things. Because this Dhamma is there for us to self-examine ourselves. So here and there, Buddha is saying to us to self-examine. If possible, when you wake up, during the daytime, and before you go to sleep, you should self-examine and see where you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what has happened and what should you be doing, how you should be talking, we need to self-examine. Only then we will be able to catch ourselves. We'll be able to see what's happening in our mind. Then only we'll be able to see whether we are applying the Dhamma or whether we are very far away from it. Or we are just living the way we are living. The normal way, the useful way. So applying the Dhamma means helping to make a change. Change for better from who we are. When we apply the Dhamma, we can change for the better. That's what the Dhamma does to us. It helps us to recognize our own faults, our own weaknesses, the negativity, the unwholesome thoughts and things that's going on within. We'll be able to see them, catch them, and we can get rid of them. And at the same time, you also can move forward by practicing the good things, the wholesome, the positive things, and develop our mind. Then we can reflect that on our speech and action and the way we live. So we can have less stress and come to a stage, if possible, to live with no stress at all. And also, if we do this, if we apply the Dhamma and do this, we can even help others to live without stress. See, the problem is today, even though the Dhamma is widely available today on this media, even though people are listening, because we are not applying it as much as we should be. Still, there is a lot of stress and stress-related problems, and everywhere the plague of the century is stress. But the medicine for stress, to overcome the stress, the best medicine is the Dhamma. So if we are applying, we should be able to change this world. We should be able to see a change in people's behavior, change in this rising depression and mental illnesses and suicide. But we are not seeing much change in that area, in mental health area. Why? Because we are not applying this Dhamma into our day-to-day life. So that's why we can't see much of a change. So I think the time has come now for us to put this into practice. So if we can put it to practice, we can solve many problems. We can help to reduce these mental problems. We can help to reduce the stress. We can help to reduce this terrorism, the attack, the wars, and all the injustice and all the things that stresses us. We can slowly reduce them. And we can find peace and harmony. This is what we want. Everyone wants to be peaceful, to be happy. We want to live in harmony with ourselves and others. But this is the hardest to come by today. A lot of people don't have peace and harmony within themselves. They are shattered into pieces. They are torn into parts. And also, we can't stand one another in a house, in the office. Now, these days, due to the COVID, there are some people had to have the children at home. They could not take them to the childcare or here and there, so everyone was at home. The stress levels has risen. Why? Because the parents can't stand being alone with the kids. Just because they could not put them to the daycare. You see? So we can't stand each other. In the house, we can't stand each other. In the office, we can't. In the country, with the fellow people in the world, we can't. Why? Because we have no harmony within, so there won't be any harmony outside. So this is a big problem. So the best way to resolve this is to bring harmony to the world, to bring peace to the world, is to first find the peace within. If we can find that peace within, easy to have peace in outside. So, Buddha pointed out that this whole thing about practicing Buddha's teaching is about finding the path to selflessness. From the gene, we have become very selfish. We even call the gene, the scientist, selfish gene. Because gene itself is about self-perseverance. So, that is what the gene does. It makes us to be selfish. But when you become selfish and you allow this gene to drive you, itself has this stress reaction, fight or flight reaction. So when we become selfish, what we end up experiencing is stress, the fight or flight reaction. All the emotions, anger, anxiety, worries, all the stress will come to us. So Buddha pointed out there is another way to live. You can bypass this fight or flight reaction. You can bypass this stress cycle. How? If you can be selfless. So Buddha pointed out how to be selfless. First, we need to realize who we are. So if you can solve that problem, you'll be free from that stress cycle, stress response, the fight or flight reaction. You'll be free from all emotions and you'll be left with peace. So one part is that we need to work on finding out who am I, who is this self. When you find that answer once and for all, you'll be free from all kinds of physical and mental suffering. But until we come to that realization, there are things still we could practice. So we need to understand the Dhamma deeply, what Buddha meant by anatta. Buddha pointed out that there is no such valuable static thing here. There is nothing that stays here forever. There is no soul. There is no self to be found here. But what is here is your body and these five senses, and they get stimulated by this external stimuli, like the eye with the light, the ears with the sounds, nose with the smells, tongue with the taste, body with the tactile objects and sensation. So like this, when they get stimulated, you start to experience. So your experience, how does that come to be? Let's take, for example, the seeing. The analysis of that process is the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. So Buddha pointed out, none of this, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, could be called as the self. It cannot be personalized as I, me, or myself, or as soul, because it's an activity. And that activity brings the experience. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and understanding. So this process happens in that paticca samuppanna way. Only when the necessary causes and conditions are there, this come to be. When that is not, this is not. Hetum paticca sambhutam hetu bhanga nirucchati. That's how this process goes on and on and on. So only if you look into this carefully, all your experiences, what you experience is the rupa, and also we're trying to identify it. So the nama rupa. So the characteristic of this nama rupa is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Because it's depending on the conditions, we cannot have the way we want. So it brings enormous stress to us. So this stress cannot be called I or me or myself. So in this activity, there is no such thing as a soul or a atta or a valuable thing or a static thing. This is activity going on in the dynamic environment. So when you understand this, you come closer to this answer. Who am I? Is there a static I? Is there an I that will be born after this death? So we can find answers to that. This is to be kept as our goal, to figure out this, to find the truth. The best thing to find in life is the truth. The most powerful truth that you can ever realize is, who am I? So while we are in this journey to figure out who we are, there are certain things we must take into consideration. We can't come to this realization without using our brain. We need to have a lot of good quality thinking ability. We need to exercise our rational, logical thinking power, our reasoning, our mana. Only when you use our mana, the mind, and you sharpen it with yoniso manasikara, looking into the right direction and thinking in the right direction, then only you will be able to realize this actual state, the anicca dukkha anatta. To do that, to bring that wisdom, we need clarity in the mind. To get that clarity, we need to have a clear brain, clear from all the chemicals, hormones that's disturbing this sharp thinking. So Buddha pointed out we need to get rid of all the 5 hindrances, all the emotions before we could do this. So it's not an easy task to come to this realization just overnight. You need to train yourself not to be emotional, not to develop these 5 hindrances, but to clear your mind from these 5 hindrances. So more you're able to keep your mind clear from these 5 hindrances, your ability to think will get sharpened. Your ability to see through things, to understand things deeply will sharpen. So to do that, we need to follow a path, Noble Eightfold Path. So after you have realized that it is your ignorance about these 4 noble truths, what is suffering? How does this suffering comes to be? What is the cause of it? And the ending of it, and how to end it, the way leading to it. After you have realized it, you are on the path. But first needed to come to that this anicca dukkha anatta, this dukkha, how does this dukkha come to be? When you are not aware of what's happening within you, when your senses are bringing data and when the mind is interpreting that and creating concepts, thoughts, and when you experience. Every moment, if you are living with avijja, if you're not aware of deep within what's happening all the time, we come to conclusion there is what we experience is nichai, sukhai, attai, subhai. These are called vipallas, distorted views. But in actual fact, everything that we experience or everything is a mental image, and every mental image, the characteristic is anichai, dukkai, anattai, asubhai. But we don't get that answer. So we cannot realize that selflessness, that nature. So we are always with I, me, myself. So every time when we are diluted with the I, me, myself incorporated into this body and to this activity, gene takes its path. As long as you have the I, me, myself in your thinking, that thinking will stimulate certain glands and the hormones will come and the self-preservance hormones, and they will take us into that stress response. And there will be this kama, chanda, vyapada, tina, midda, uddhacca, kukkucca, vicikicca, all the 5 hindrances, all the emotions will come, and that will double up your suffering. So Buddha pointed out, until we realize who we are, at least we should start to think without the I, me, myself in the equation. We need to start to think about this activity as an activity, not as I, me, or myself, but as an activity. We have to look into our experience with Yoniso Manasikara. How did this experience come to be? What is the characteristic of this? When we keep doing this, our mind will clear from all the chemicals in the brain, and the mind will become clear, and we'll be able to get a sharpen. We'll be able to sharpen it, and we'll be able to see it with clarity, what's really happening. So as soon as you come to this realization, this suffering is created from within due to our own avijja, because we don't know anything about this. So every moment when you are with avijja and you experience something, the suffering comes to you. So if you want to get rid of this suffering, then you need to be all the time be aware of what's happening within and realize. So after someone has got a little bit of even understanding about the suffering and how it's manifesting inside, and how to really overcome this, how to really realize there is no I, me, myself, or any soul or anything, but what is there is this anicca dukkha anatta. There is this dukkha, the suffering, and this anatta aspect. So until we realize that, there will be dukkha. So as soon as we kind of start to see things in this light, the next step what we have to do is the samma sankappa. Change the way you think from selfish thinking to selfless thinking. Our problem is we want pleasant feelings, pleasant sensations to experience and to have it all the time, and we don't like unpleasant feelings and sensations. So all we try to do is to have the karma, to please the senses. So all we generate is kama vitarka, then vyapada vitarka, hinsa vitarka. When we are in this selfish mode, we interpret our circumstances, our experiences with this kama vitarka, vyapada vitarka, and hinsa vitarka. And when you develop this kama vitarka, vyapada vitarka, hinsa vitarka, thoughts of pleasing your senses, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of cruelty, there is a kick you get. There is kind of a pleasure that you find through this. This is why people interpret things in that way. But there is also another system in the body where when you give up this kama vitarka, vyapada vitarka, hinsa vitarka, and when you develop nekkhamma vitarka, vyapada vitarka, hinsa vitarka, when you give up wanting to please your senses, when you renounce that, and when you give up the ill thoughts and you develop loving kind thought, you give up the cruel thoughts and you develop compassionate thoughts, there is another system in our body called the parasympathetic. So the messages will then go in the parasympathetic instead of that sympathetic and activating that stress cycle. Now when you start to think in this selfless way, messages will go in the parasympathetic and it will relax us. The parasympathetic is connected to the pineal gland and it secretes hormones to relax. It will help you to relax. And that relaxation will bring you so much of bodily comfort. And with that, we feel so comfortable and happy and peaceful, content. So this is the long lasting, that peace and happiness that we want. It doesn't come from arousing the system, by shaking the system. It comes by you letting it settle, letting it to cool down. So how did you do it? How we do it? By changing the way we think. Getting rid of the cruel thoughts, but practicing, developing compassionate thoughts, getting rid of the ill thoughts, and practicing the unconditional loving kind thoughts. Getting rid of wanting to please your senses and renouncing those thoughts, giving up those thoughts. So it's a change. When you do that, your speech, your action, the way you live also will change. After that, you will have so much clarity in the mind. And with that clarity, you'll be able to be in the present moment, moment to moment, you'll be able to check what's happening in your mind. If there's any unwholesome thought that has arisen, you'll be able to get rid of it. Because now you know it will lead you to suffering. And if there's any unarisen unwholesome thought, you will not let it come up. You will guard your mind. You will protect your mind now. And then we need to develop the unarisen wholesome thought. And then we have to cultivate it and continue to develop it until it comes to the maturity. This is what we do in the Samma Vayama. So when we do that, our mind will get purified. So when the mind is getting more and more purified and you practice this Samma Vayama, more you start to practice this, developing the unarisen wholesome thoughts and continue to practice and develop this arisen wholesome thought until its maturity, we call that you're practicing developing the Saptabojjhanga, 7 factors of enlightenment from Sati. So when you develop this Sati, Dhammavicaya, Virya, Passaddhi, Priti, Samadhi, Upekha, you already have come to the Samma Samadhi, to the end of the Noble Eightfold Path. So that is the long-lasting peace that you were looking for, you were longing for. After you have practiced this Vipassana part, where you have developed the Saptabojjhanga, it will not reverse back. It will not go back to the stress cycle. This will only move you forward, relaxing the body and calming the mind. And all you will have is that tranquility, the peace of mind. When you're facing any vicissitude of life, you will not shake, the mind unshaken. You will face the world, the praise, the blame, the fame, the ill fame, the gain and the loss, the happiness and sadness, the suffering. You will face all in the same way, not shaking the mind. So this is called attaining the full enlightenment. When you come to this stage, how your mind is called the Nibbana. It will not react to anything. So it's like the fire has been extinguished. So no more fire. Nibbana. Nibbana Paramansukam. This is the most tastiest, this is the most valuable, most comfortable feeling a human being can achieve. The best and highest achievement is experiencing this Nibbana. So this is our goal. And to get to here, so there is this path that we should follow, the action. To do anything, we need to follow a plan of action plan. That is the Noble Eightfold Path. So we follow that. So it will divide into the understanding, the Sila part, Sila Samadhi Prajna, where you start to embark on this path with understanding. And then the Sila part, then the Samadhi part. So in our day-to-day life, it's very important that we bring this understanding to our day-to-day life and we practice it. We need to base our sila on these grounds. So today, people observe the 5 precepts, but they don't practice. This is why there is so much violence. Like for one example, now we say Pana Atipata Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhyami. All lay Buddhists all around the world will follow this, but hardly practice it. Now Buddha pointed out everyone's life is dear to them, so don't kill them, don't hurt them. So this Pansil, this 5 precepts, is based on Attupanayaka Dhamma Pariyaya Padana, means you are to compare yourself to others. If you don't like to get treated in some way, don't do that to another. So, we all know that we don't like to get hurt, we don't like anyone to come and kill us, then we should not do it to another. We should do that not because we are afraid to go to hell or anything. We should not do this because we know I don't like to suffer in that way, therefore I should not inflict suffering on others either. Because if I do this, if I hurt, if I damage, if I try to take their life, it brings immense suffering. No one likes to suffer, so therefore I should not do it. So I should not do it directly, I should not do it indirectly, I should not employ someone else to go and do it on behalf of me. Or if someone is doing these nasty, cruel things, I should not support them by paying the money or buying their products, encouraging them, supporting them. I should not do that. Nor should I market their wrongdoing. I should not encourage. I should not give them a place. I should not, help them to establish and to do that thing more and more. Promote. I should not promote that. Buddha is pointing that out in Anguttara Nikaya. There's 4 ways we can do something. Directly, indirectly, or you support, you pay money and you give your time and you buy their product and you help them to pay their salaries, you help them to put up their infrastructure by creating a demand and buying those things. And also by promoting them. So in those 4 ways, you become part of that action. So have a look today. This cruel farming industry, what are they doing? We know that Buddha had said there is 5 micca ajiva. And one of them is this selling the fish and the meat and this meat industry. It is cruel industry. It is a micca jiva, wrong way of finding your livelihood, wrongdoing, because it brings suffering. There is 5 trades that you should not engage in finding money, earning money, or doing this. What are they? The slavery and this fish meat industry and the weaponry, selling the weaponry and selling the poison and selling all the intoxicants, the cigarettes, the liquor, the drugs. You see, when people make these things and they go and sell, it's damaging to everyone, to the one who is in it, who is doing it, and also who is engaging in them. It's damaging to everyone. There is no win here. So if someone is doing something wrong, we need to either stop it or we should not be part of it. If we are not that influential to go and stop it, at least we should not be part of it. You see, now with this meat industry, what are we doing? They are doing a wrong thing. They are earning money in the wrong way. They are hurting animals. They are killing animals, these innocent beings. And their thought waves are affecting our whole world. You know, when someone is sad, whether you are a human being or an animal, this is the energetic world. We experience that distress thought in the environment, the others, we can feel. You see, if you go to a place where people are sad, you feel sad. If you go to a place where people are very happy, you feel happy. You go to a hospital in Sri Lanka, or you go to a place where people are fighting, or you go to a funeral, you feel very sad and very low. If you go to a monastery, you go to a pure place where pure people are, you feel very elated and peaceful. Because we are sensitive to the energies. So we should not create these hellish places on earth where everyone is so sad and so terrorized, seeing who is in front of them getting killed and waiting to die in that terror, anger, anguish. We should not create that energy on earth because it's affecting us. So nowadays, we don't know why people are getting all this anxiety and worries and fears and depression and sadness. They don't know why. We are creating these thoughts. More than the human population, we have so much of animals in these farms. And this is not good for us, this energy. And these poor animals, after they've been so mistreated and, you know, they go through all this and they get killed, you know, all their that anxiety and worries and fears and all this doesn't help them to get a good birth. They will go more down and down and down. And also the people, when we create a demand for this, we go and buy them, we create a demand, we pay their salary, we pay the money for them to go and buy more lands and get rid of the forest and make these farms. And it's helping to this climate change, to the global warming. So it is destroying our Earth, planet Earth. And when these people are doing this without knowing that they are not only destroying this planet, these animals, these other human beings, it's affecting, but they themselves directly will not have a good birth after they die. Buddha says it very clearly, if anyone is hurting, harming, damaging, killing other beings, whether it's an animal being or a human being, they don't get a good birth. So we have to have compassion seeing this. We need to have unconditional love and kindness with understanding that we need to be aware of this, our contribution towards this cruelty. It's not like if you eat something that is already dead, then you just come and cook it and eat it, that's fine. If someone gives it for you for free, fine. It's not about whether to eat meat or not to eat meat. This is about you buying them and you're supporting a livelihood that Buddha had said, do not participate in it. It's a wrong way of livelihood. This adharmishta krameyata salli hoyano. Adharmishta means it's not a good way. They are hurting someone and earning money. And when you develop people who become very insensitive to others' suffering, others' way of thinking, way of feeling, You become so insensitive when you only want to get what you want. We are breeding cruel people. We are breeding hearts like stones. And later, they will not only treat the animals that way, they will treat their own sisters and brothers the same way. We don't want this to happen. We don't want amanusya or inhuman beings in human world. We want to have human beings with a human heart. The human heart has the love, the kindness, the compassion. So we need to develop these. Now we are locking them. We are getting rid of them and we are stoning. Why? Because we are becoming so insensitive to what's going on. So keeping precepts means it's not an easy thing to do because we all have this addiction to eat fish and meat. This is being researched from the Vedas time, when we been living in forest and all that, we used to prey on animals. So we have, our taste buds are longing for the flesh and the blood. More the flesh is more kept for more longer and more the carcasses being rotten, more taste for it, more we like it. There is that, more than the fish, dry fish that is being there for a long time is rotten more, it's tasty. And there is a thing called the jadi, where you really let it rot and people really like it. So there is this addiction in our system. The taste buds are addicted to this fish and the meat and the blood and things because we have been using this for a long, long time. So it is in our genes. So this is why, even though we see this is wrong to encourage someone to kill, to go and support them by paying the money and, helping this, creating a demand for this cruel industry is wrong, but we do it. Why? It's like there are lung specialists who smoke. I have met some doctors, especially some lung specialists who smoke. Why? Because it's addiction. Before they become lung specialists, they've been smoking from their young age. So they can't give it up. They're so addicted. So they can't use the brain and command and stop it, even though they can see the damage. This is like this. This meat industry is doing so much damage to the animals, to us, to the earth, to the climate. We see that damage, but we cannot overcome it. Why? Because we have so much addiction to this. So it's not an easy thing to do. This is why the precepts are there now to overcome this addiction. Seeing this with love, the kindness, the compassion, and making a decision. No, I don't want to be supportive of this cruel industry. I don't want to, destroy the earth. You see, there is floods in Brisbane and then the Sydney, and tomorrow will be Melbourne, maybe. And I'm sure even in your countries, in Malaysia, that's the same. Now, when it rains, it just rains cats and dogs. In 1 hour, flash flooding. So do you want to wait until the flood comes to your doorstep, or you want to change and act now? If we can develop love, the kindness from the ant to the cockroach, to this chicken, to the cow, to the forest, to the trees, then definitely we will have that love and kindness to our own human beings, our own sisters and brothers. You see, if we start to become insensitive and just think of I, me, myself, and what I want, and I want to indulge in what I want to indulge, not caring about what's going on in that process, we will have more Hitlers in this world. We won't be able to stop the wars. We won't be able to stop invasions. Why? Who cares? We don't have a heart anymore. This is why, to keep the heart, to keep it alive, to keep it wet, to keep it soft, We need to practice this mrudu anatimani, mrudu, soft. We need to develop the selflessness, and we need to develop this unconditional love, the kindness, the compassion, all those good qualities. And this is why I said Buddhists know all this right and wrong, good and bad, but we don't practice. We just live the way we want. Most of the world's things are set up on the Bible. What the Bible said, it's going on like that. The Bible said, thou shalt not kill, but it only applies to my friends. The rest I can kill because the God created it for me, so I have the right to kill, so I can kill. From the ant to the insect to the animal to the human being, I can. That's where the problem is. So the whole system is set up in that way. Now we Buddhists also getting caught up. We should be the ones to act by example and then live by example. When we do that, we won't have stress. So when we don't have stress, people will look into us. People will come and ask from you, how are you living so peacefully? How are you? You're facing all these problems, troubles, but you're so calm and peaceful. What are you doing, my friend? How do you live? There's a chance then you can tell them, I live abiding to this peaceful conduct. I love myself as well as I love others. This is what Buddha taught in the Karaniya Metta Sutta. You know, the most pure love is a mother's love for the child, and it's coming from the gene. No one has to teach anyone how to love the baby. Even the little birdie will love the little bird. The bitch will love the puppy. The cat will love the little cat, kitten. No one has to teach them. They will give the food, even what they have to eat, they will give it to their baby. You watch the birds, how they do it. So this love is there in our genes, the love from the mother to the baby. Now, what Buddha is saying, we need to expand this selfish love just for my baby to all beings. Mata yatani amputtam ayusayeka puttam anurakke evampi sabba bhutesu mana sambhave apariman. Buddha is saying, now this is not such a great thing. Even the animals have this love. What we need to do is not just to take as only my child as my child and have all that love and kindness and compassion and even the ability to sacrifice your happiness and even your life if needed to bring happiness to the child, to bring the child to the safety. That's not a big thing. It's coming from the genes. What we have to do is extend this love to the neighbors, to the other people in the village, to the countrymen, to everyone in the world, to be able to see everyone as my child and care for them and be concerned about everyone's welfare and well-being, like you do to your own child. You see, if we do that, we will treat the ant very respectfully and very lovingly, kindly. We will treat the cockroach. We will treat that chicken. We will treat that cow. We will treat the ones in Russia or the Ukraine, in everywhere, whether we like or not, equally but nicely, and we will have the care and the concern for their welfare and well-being. Because we love now. That love has to be pure and genuine, not just say panatipata veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami, but you become a hypocrite and go and do and eat anything and everything you want and encourage these cruel industries. No. We need to have that true, genuine love. Then we will not kill each other. We will not kill the animals. We will not spray on the little insect. You see, Buddha said not to even buy the poison. You see, in the West, that's what they did. They only want to find this easy way of living. Lazy pahasu vasikram. They only make things to live make the life easy, and that's it. They don't look for the consequences. So they bring this poison, weed killer, pesticide, and this side, that side. All you do is buy it. If you don't like something, just spray. But Buddha is saying poisons are not things you create. They are things you want to get rid of the earth. If there is poisons on the earth, in the earth itself, there is a way to get rid of those poisons by certain plants and things like that. But now we are creating a lot of poison. We put it to our fertilizer, we put it to our plants, we put it to our crop, we put it to the little insect that is helping us by, we throw the rubbish to the environment. They are the ones who decompose it. So we can live on earth. We can put our feet on earth. If all the insects extinct from this earth, we can't live more than 6 months. The human race will extinct too. Why? From all the bacteria and virus and everything that comes out from the rubbish. We will go under the rubbish. We won't be able to breathe. So it's the insect that's doing this job for us, cleaning the environment and decomposing and helping us. So we should have gratitude to the little ant, to the little cockroach, to the little worm, to anything and everything. You see, now that our biggest problem is we don't have gratitude. We don't know how to value someone, what they're doing. If they are not making noise, if they are not going on a parade and asking for more and more or money, or they don't shout, we really don't see people doing things silently. We don't see what these insects are doing, what these animals are doing, what these trees are doing to us. We need oxygen to breathe, and we expel carbon dioxide. So the trees give us the oxygen, we expel carbon dioxide. Trees take that poisonous carbon dioxide and give us the oxygen. So half of our lungs is hanging out there. We should not cut the forest. We should not cut the trees. If you really have to cut a tree for a real good reason, you must grow few. Then only you should cut that. You're cutting down your half of your lung. So we should develop gratitude towards the trees, towards this insect, towards these animals. In the world, it's an ecosystem. It needs to be in a balance. So this is why everything is there. Whatever is in here is for a reason, and they all have their duty to do. Everything. The chicken is here for a reason. Cow is here for a reason. So we must not destroy the tree, the forest, the river, these animals, these insects. They are not for our perusal. We didn't create them. We can't kill them. No, we should support anyone killing them. We human beings are the most evolved beings. What is expected from the most evolved being? If you are the eldest in your family, you are expected to look after your younger siblings. So we are the most evolved in our evolution, and we are to look after everyone else, not to destroy. So we are going crazy now. So someone have to overcome this, and someone needs to start to think properly and act properly. Otherwise, everyone will only go mad. And this is what's happening today. So we have to not just recite the 5 precepts, but we need to adhere to them. We need to put it to practice in our day-to-day life. You need to see your contribution to the destroying this earth, the climate change, and what you're doing. And we have to correct ourselves wherever we are going wrong. We need to correct ourselves. We can't change others, but I can change myself. When I do that, I lead by example. My children will learn from that. So we can help the future generation. Otherwise, we just go with these blind people doing things blindly. We will have to drown in the flood while driving in the street. Or the tsunami will come looking for us. Or the earthquakes. Because this environment, this earth, The environment, our surroundings, they also have eyes and ears and everything. It's really live. What we do, it sees. What we release to it, it gathers energy on that. So more we breed these nasty thoughts and poor thoughts and selfish thoughts and only look after I, me, myself, I get what I like and, I just go like that. The environment gets energized with that type of energy. And it will react. It will give it back to us. If you want to really change what's going on now in this environment, in this climate, you need to change the way you think from this nasty thinking, from this ignorant thinking, conscious thinking, and to loving, kind, compassionate thinking. You must love others as you love yourself. You must care for others, other beings, all beings like you care for yourself, your child. If not, we can't reverse what's happening. So it's time for us to act. If we just become a Buddhist for the namesakes, nothing will happen. You all will end up dying in a very terrible state. And if you haven't developed your mind not to shake when you're drowning and dying and you don't know what to do, how to keep calm, your next birth is not going to be a good one. So we want to live comfortably. We want to die comfortably. We don't want all these calamities. Then you want to change. You want to treat the environment nicely with your thoughts first. When your thoughts are correct, you will do the right thing by speech and action, definitely, because your speech and action will follow your mind. So if you can purify your mind and have all this selfless good thought developing there, your speech and action will follow, and that will only be healing to the earth, healing to the environment, healing to the climate, healing to everyone. So let's act. It's time for us to act. It's time for us to really understand what Buddha taught and put it to practice. Not just singing Bailan, there is no intention here. That is just finding excuses. Even the animals have karma. This is why when you're born as an animal, it's very difficult to ascend to a good birth. Because what they keep on doing ignorantly is keep on hurting one another, keep on stressing one another, killing each other when you're hungry, and they hardly do anything good. So they are always doing the akusala karma. So that's why it's very difficult for them to come up to a better birth. So they also have karma. That means they also have chetana. So the human beings, as long as you have the avijja, you have chetana. As long as you are acting with tanha, with lobha, dosa, moha, which is everyone is doing that except an arahat. As long as you are acting with tanha, with this greed, hatred and delusion, you have chetana. Chetana being interpreted in the wrong way. So who doesn't have a chetana is only an arahant, only a fully enlightened person who have got rid of this avijja. They don't have a chetana, so they don't have karma. But we all normal people who are not an arahat have chetana. So don't tell me that you don't have any chetana about destroying this earth, destroying these animals' lives, destroying this climate and everything. It's not that you're intentionally doing it, but your way of ignorant living itself is doing this. When the flood comes to your door, you can't say, oh, I didn't create this intentionally. You will drown. When the tsunami comes to your door, you can't say, oh, I didn't create this intentionally. I didn't do anything intentionally to have this. Yes, you didn't. Look into your actions. So when these things come to you, you just can't escape. You just can't give excuses. So we need to stop just things silly and saying things silly. We need to take responsibility for the damage that we have created here ignorantly. And we need to act now. If not, when, I don't know. I think it's going to be too late. So at least Buddhists should give the leadership, acting in the nice way, non-violent way, caring for each other, from the little insect to the animals, to the environment, to the other human beings. But that has to come genuinely. This is what Buddha has been pointing out. This love and the kindness can change the world. If you can produce these good thoughts all the time, emitting from your heart, it can do wonders. Thoughts are very powerful. When we are so ignorant and we allow this cruelty and all these things to go on and on and on, the world will get full of this negative energy and negative things will happen to us. Only the stress levels will go up high. Only this climate and the environment will get more nasty and nasty and nasty. And they will treat you nicely on the spot. So if you want to reverse these things, the wars, the terrorism, this climate that is going, out of control, you want to reverse these things, we have to change the way we think. We can't be this ignorant being anymore. You need to take responsibility. You need to live consciously. You need to learn to walk the path of selflessness. It starts from loving kindness, unconditional loving kindness. You're treating everyone as how the mother would treat to their child. You need to have care and concern for everyone's welfare and well-being. We call this Maitri. We need to develop Maitri wholeheartedly, not just say, oh, may all beings be well and happy. But you have to mean it and you have to put it to action. So if you mean it, you just can't allow these wrong actions, wrong livelihoods to go on and flourish and breed people with heartless people who will then one day will kill each other because you don't feel. Recently, I had a lady, someone rang me and told me that they have corona, what to do and all that. So it's spreading here like wildfire, but it's nothing. It's just like a cold and a flu. But because people being given this dark picture, some people get afraid. So I told her we have Pavatta here and some medicinal things. Don't worry, I will send it to you and you take it and give it to the child and you'll be okay. So when one lady came, I asked, Amma, can you please go and deliver this to that place? You just keep it on near the post box, that's enough. And they're very close by here, about 5-10 minutes drive. I asked, can you please help? Then she said, oh, I'm running to the market and, I have an order to make tonight. So this was in the morning. I need to run to the market and get things quickly and go home and make food to deliver it tonight. Can you find someone else? I said, okay. You see, how is our heart? Those days, if someone asks, because someone is sick and you ask them to help, they will go out of the way. Some people even will take leave or they will go out of the way to help someone because they see it as a duty. And here now we only have time for ourselves to earn money, to look for money. And who cares about the other one, whether they are alive or not? Who cares? I don't care. Today you talk to a child, their national anthem is, I don't care. Who cares? This is going to be very problematic. Why? We are breeding people with no heart, heartless people. If they have, it's very hard. It's like a stone. So Buddha says we need to change this. We need to develop muduvanatimana. We need to develop this softness. this ego should be really, really, really coming down, and practice to have that no ego, humbleness. We need to start from gratitude. When you start from gratitude, it's very easy to develop this. And you see everyone's connection, and you see this is ecosystem, and everything needs to be in balance. When we see that and have gratitude, we will not try to destroy anything. We will respect. With that, we can care. So whatever the limit that you can, whatever that your influence range, whatever you can do, you do that. That's enough. By not buying things produced by the wrong livelihood. That's a big thing. Now, people want to punish Russia, so they are putting sanctions. They are saying, we are not buying this, we are not buying that. Why? Because they want to punish. They want to discourage the wrong things they are doing. So the same way, if we know this fish and the meat industry and the poison industry, weaponry industry, and this liquor industry is doing wrong to the whole world, to everyone. So we must not buy them, not just make them and sell them. That's a no-no. But we should not even buy them. Don't have the excuse, oh, even if I don't buy someone else, that's someone else's business. You know, here, if someone comes and sell you a camera and they say, oh, $50. But if you suspect that it is being stolen and it is about $1,000 worth, and this man has stolen this is why he is just selling it for $50. From the law, we are prohibited to buy that. You can't have excuses thinking, oh, I had no intention on this. I didn't tell him to go and do it. So it is not with intention. So if I buy this, there is no akusala karma here. Or even if I don't buy, the next door neighbor will buy. So therefore, oh, even if I buy, so it doesn't matter. I better buy than anyone else buying. You can't have those excuses. If you buy, and when they look for that stolen good, if you have it in your house, you will be the one to go to the jail or to the court. No excuses. Why now they are saying that if someone comes like this, don't buy? It is to discourage them from doing it over and over and over. If no one buys it, they will not do this. So this is why you want to, this is how you want to stop someone doing the wrong things. So if someone is engaged in the wrong trade and they are making the wrong things, they are trying to sell it, we should not buy them. We should discourage them, we should boycott. If you can't do that, at least don't buy for your own use. Try to overcome your addiction that is so damaging to you. It's damaging to the environment. Even when you eat, you have bad cholesterol, you have heart problems. So on the spot, you know, we get the karma phala vipaka there too, and these animals being terrorized, so much of adrenaline in the body. More the animal, the bigger, more you have these hormones, this adrenaline and things, they are very poisonous. And you eat it, no wonder your body gets heated. So for your own health sake also, we must not eat these things. So as a Buddhist, please pay attention to these 5 traits that people should not be engaged in. No, you should be part of it. By working for those industries or by paying money and buying their products and helping them to pay the salary and to go and do more and more of that kind of wrong things. So please don't do that. As a Buddhist, wake up and now act responsibly. So when we do that, the environment will see this. They have a record. Even though you can bribe your local police and, you know, find your way out from here and there, you can wriggle out. But the karma police, you can't. It will find you. So this universe, it has its own consciousness. Whatever we think, we say, we do, it's all being recorded. You are under surveillance. The others call it God, omnipotent, omnipresent, they're watching me. Yeah, it's watching me. I had someone who is a very nice lady. In her street, they live kind of, it's like on top of the hill, to the bottom of that hill, there is a street. So they live kind of the bottom part. And one big water pipe has burst from the top. So all the water was gushing to the bottom. And the water was filling. So few houses, it's like flooding now. And it has come to this lady's doorstep and didn't enter it inside. Every other house that was in that level, they even have to change the carpets and everything. But this lady said, Mihininwan, it's a miracle. I believe what you say. I even don't kill an ant. We don't buy fish or meat or anything. We don't hurt anyone, even consciously. I don't even say things to hurt someone if I know it's going to hurt them. So she said she's so convinced that something stopped that flood not enter into her house. This is a true story that happened here a few days ago. You see, this is why I say this environment, this universe, it has its own system of retribution. What we get is what we qualified. So if you don't want to have the tsunami coming and knocking on your door, the flood coming over your roof, or the earth trembling under your feet, please treat this universe nicely. Treat everyone who is in this universe nicely. Respect life. Have love and kindness, compassion, genuine. Not just hypocrite, but genuinely. Love. Love others. Not that lustful love, but the genuine love, the maitri, that broader heart, that you think of everyone's welfare and well-being when you make decisions, when you do things, when you say things. And we like to live leaving little carbon print on us. So it's easy for you. When you go, you can ascend and go. You can, enter into the stream and then die as a Magapalalabi or like a Rahatan Mahansa, seeing that no place on earth is a safe place to live anymore. Then the Buddha's time, you should be able to see now. This is so dangerous to keep on coming over and over and over. To be born and to be in this calamity and to die. Just someone with the right set of mind will not come back to visit here again. Because it's not a comfortable place to live anymore. So we should all aim to attain Nibbana, to exit this system. To do that, you cannot do without purifying your mind, your speech, and your bodily actions. You just cannot not observe the Sila. This noble eightfold path consists of Sila, Samadhi, Prajna. So you can't skip this. If someone says, oh, without the Sila I can attain Nibbana, that's not Buddha's teaching. Buddha is saying you do need to have good discipline. You do need to have good control over your emotions, your desires, and how you do, what you do, everything. And make sure you consider others. Make sure you put yourself in others' shoes first. Do everything with love and kindness. If when we have our cat, our dog, when something is hurting to them, when they are in pain, we run to the vet. Why? We want to help them to be free from that suffering. Why? Because it's my dog, my cat, my chicken, my cow. Now, what about the cow in the farm? What about the cow in the, in that abattoir, just waiting for their death? Who is going to help them? Who is going to help that dog waiting in the soup, to be in the soup? Who is going to help that chicken to be on the table. We don't like anyone killing our children, my dog, my cat, my chicken. It hurts. So here clearly it's our selfishness. You know, we are so ignorant that we are so selfish that we only feel the pain and everything only about in that range, me and my range, not outside of it. This is why Buddha says to extend that range. More you extend, more you will start to feel others' pain and suffering and liking and disliking. So open your heart. Go beyond this selfishness to selflessness. Then you will be part of this universe. You will not just close yourself into one corner and struggle and live a stressful life. But more you become selfless, more comfortable you will be, more the environment, the universe, the others will treat you nicely. Buddha says, you know, when you have loving kindness, even the inhuman beings will treat you nicely. The devas will protect you. The animals will be friends with you. They will not harm you, hurt you, damage you. Human beings will become friendly with you. Not even the fire will damage you, hurt you. Not even the poison will hurt you. Like that. And then Buddha says you'll be able to sleep nicely, comfortably, relaxedly. Then you'll be able to wake up fresh. There's so many benefits of developing this loving kindness. So today what we lack really is a loving kindness. Because we don't have that, we don't feel others. So when I want to do things selfishly, only thinking about I, me, myself and what I want, if I feel like, oh, I want to have the next door neighbor, I want to have their land, oh, I want to have the next door country, I just go for it because I can't feel how they will feel when you attack. This is the sign of the inhuman heart. So this is where we will end up if we go on like this. So it's time for us to change from selfish to selflessness. From your thinking, talking, and acting. Your thoughts, speech, and action, they all have to follow this. So as Buddhists, we take these 5 precepts, we observe them. That means you have to observe it, not just to say and go, but put it to practice. You need to incorporate it into your life and self-examine and see whether you have incorporated it or not, whether it slipped or not. When there is strong addictions involved, it's difficult. But you keep on trying and keep on, and one day you should be able to have it. But the best thing is you start from developing your mind, and when you convince your mind something wrong is wrong, wrong as wrong, you'll be able to really not engage with that. It's about we convincing ourselves. That's what it is. Anyway, I want to show you about the power of our thinking. Because we think just, our thoughts are just thoughts. No. Your negative thinking will make this world a worse place. When you have nice, loving, kind, compassionate thoughts, it will change the world to be a very comfortable place for everyone. It will bring harmony, it will bring comfort and peace and happiness to everyone. So you can see this when you do it with a collective level, but each and individual have that. But when you do it in the collective way, scientifically it's been measured. So I'm going to show you a document, two short clips. That one is about this energy and how it affects us, and the second video is about one of the researchers, one of the professors who got involved in one of those researchers, Professor Hegel, Dr. Hegel, who is a quantum physicist, have proven this, and it's a proven fact now. Our thoughts affect not just human beings, even the environment. So we should be very careful about our thoughts, and we should only develop good thoughts. And it's time now we do that. If you really want to find solutions to the Ukraine-Russian problem, to this cruel animal cruelty, to this, to that, you want to find problems to what's going on in Sri Lanka, instead of blaming and accusing and not knowing what to do, there is something we can do. Use your mind power. You can help to settle things. You can help to solve things. Don't go in the negative way. Go the positive way, the loving, kind way. It is a love that can change everything. So then you won't feel helpless. You won't feel sad. You have hope, because you know you can stay where you are from your home. You can meditate morning and night, just developing that unconditional loving kindness towards all beings. And if you want, you can focus on a particular area, and that area will improve for your amazement. That powerful is our thoughts. So at a time like this, if we can understand this, the Buddha's teachings, we can apply it to our life, and you can even make use of it and get things done where you can't physically do, where you are not that influential to go and see something in a summit, or to these politicians, or to the influential people, but you can stay home and practice focus and develop these loving, kind thoughts, and develop these good wishes towards these people, and they will change. And there it is proven scientifically. So I'm just going to show you this. Can I have that first video, please? Thank you.
If you took all 7.7 billion people on Earth and removed all the empty space in between their atoms, the entire human race would fit into a single cube of sugar. Let that sink in. So much for a solid world. Albert Einstein himself said, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." What he meant is that the physical world is an illusion. The hidden truth of reality is that this is a universe built on pure energy, pure consciousness. It only appears and feels solid because that's how our brains are programmed to perceive and sense it. Yet this consciousness has no physical boundaries. It is intimately interconnected everywhere. But despite this knowledge that has been written about in countless ancient mystical texts and proven time and time again by modern science, we continue to behave as if it wasn't true. We continue to use the old paradigm model of a physical universe when trying to change the world and fix its problems. Fight against poverty, fight against environmental destruction, fight against animal cruelty, fight against corrupt politicians, fight against injustice and hatred. And yet we don't realize that our very fighting is helping to perpetuate these problems. Because we live in a purely energetic, consciousness-based universe. And when you fight against any problem or injustice with anger and resistance in your heart, your consciousness is literally seeding the energy field of humanity with negative contracted energy. So while you may seem to be helping on the physical front and what you're fighting for may improve, there will be no ultimate resolution because the energetic seed you planted will be alive. And it will unite with energy of its kind from around the world and necessitate the manifestation of new problems. Because that's how reality actually works. Consciousness literally creates physical reality. Your state of consciousness, along with everyone else's on the planet, is what is creating our planet's future moment by moment. But the vast majority of people have been miseducated and misinformed. They're fighting for a better world on the physical front, but their underlying consciousness is serving as the blueprint for more injustice and more problems to be born into the world. And it's a vicious cycle that won't end until we wake up to the truth. The truth is that no amount of fighting and protesting and campaigning will create real lasting change as long as there's anger and hatred and resistance in our hearts. We've been down this futile path for endless centuries. One problem solved, and a new one springs in its place, necessitated by the negative energy that solved the first one. When will we realize that there has to be a better way? Well, that better way was actually proven to us 4 decades ago, but no one took notice. In 1978, a scientifically controlled study was conducted on a group of 7,000 meditators who meditated for 3 weeks in a state of love and peace. What happened next was absolutely stunning. It was discovered that during this period, global crime rates dropped by 16%. Global suicides and car accidents also dropped. Most astonishing of all, there was a 72% decrease in global terrorist activity. Stop and think about that for a moment. The entire world literally changed because of a group of a mere 7,000 meditators who stayed in coherence in a higher state of consciousness. A state of love and peace. And this shocking result occurred precisely because we don't live in a physical universe. These powerful waves of love and peace were felt subconsciously by the entire collective consciousness of humanity and affected mass behavior without people even realizing it. And so it's time for us to wake up to these hidden truths about our reality. It's time for us to drop the old paradigm that tells us the world will change by fighting for change. And it's time to embrace the new paradigm that empowers each and every single one of us to change the world in a real and lasting way. Through the incredible power of our consciousness, there are no limits to your power when you align to a more truthful view of the world you live in. The love that you feel in your heart is an actual power that you have. It's literally the most powerful force on earth. This is not a cliche. You've just been conditioned to believe that it has no real effect. But we've seen that its power is absolutely world-changing. And one person, you, has unlimited amounts of it to plant as seeds in the collective consciousness. So start this very moment. Close your eyes, open your heart, and send love to the world. Feel the peace and let your consciousness abide there. Every single second that you do this literally rewrites our planet's future with a new energetic blueprint. And then if you're meant to take some physical action to help the world, it'll be spontaneously inspired by love and it will be infinitely more powerful than that which is fueled by righteous anger. Love can lead to courageous, assertive action. It does not mean being passive. And even without physical action, you're helping to change the world on a foundational, energetic level that actually creates reality. You are the superhero and savior you've been waiting for. You just didn't know it.
So now, it was just a normal person talking, but you can see actually one of the scientists who have conducted these studies giving his report. Can I have Dr. Hagel's finding, please? Thank you.
Very quickly some of the early research. This is the first study, and I won't go into it in great detail except to say that this experiment was performed in the Middle East during the peak of the Lebanon War in the early 1980s. It was hypothesized, based on many previous smaller experiments, that if enough people were collectively experiencing and stimulating this fundamental, powerful field of peace within, that there would be a radiated influence of peace that would affect the behavior of people throughout society. People would wake up in the morning and they'd decide, hey, I don't think I'm going to kill anybody today. What a novel thought. That, with some expanded comprehension and less narrowly cramped, narrowly self-centered, acutely stressed vision, that those desperate acts of terrorism simply don't really have a fertile field to fall on. So this chart shows a dotted line going up and down, which is the rise and fall on a daily basis of the number of people who were meditating as a group in Jerusalem. About 1,000 people on average, sometimes more, sometimes less. And the solid line represents progress towards peace in the war in neighboring Lebanon. And even before the benefit of statistical analysis, you can almost see from the raw data that progress towards peace, measured by reduced war deaths, reduced war injuries, reduced number of bombs, that progress towards peace goes up and down almost in lockstep with the number of people who were meditating as a group, radiating this influence of inner peace to become outer peace. When this was subject to mathematical analysis, the likelihood that this is simply due to some fluke, due to chance, is less than 1 part in 10,000 to be able to say something with this certainty that group meditation prevented war That is a really remarkable finding. When this was published in the Yale University Journal of Conflict Resolution, it ignited a firestorm. First of all, it took 2 years to publish the paper because the editors reviewed it and reviewed it and reviewed it, and they said in the end, this paper is unassailable. This paper was performed at a standard of scientific rigor far beyond that required for publication in any journal. So they had to publish it, but they published it with a letter. And the letter in the journal said, the results of this experiment are so unexpected that 1,000 people could influence the behavior of 1,000,000, that they urged other scientists to go out and repeat the study. And that's exactly what happened over the next 2.25 years. 7 other scientific collaborations went out and repeated the study, training and assembling groups of meditators, practicing transcendental meditation. And in every one of these experiments during this 2.25-year period, there was a marked reduction in violence and war. 80% drop in war deaths and war-related injuries in comparison to all the other days during the 2.25 years where there were no meditating groups, when the situation grew slightly worse, as this chart shows, in comparison to 7 highly positive bars showing highly statistically significant progress towards peace in every single experiment. If you put these together, the likelihood that this reduction of war was, again, simply due to chance and not due to the meditating groups was less than 1 part in 10 million. There is far more evidence that group meditation can turn off war like a light switch than there is evidence that aspirin reduces headache pain, for example. It is a scientific fact.
Okay, thank you. So you saw it for your eyes now, what the scientists have to say. It's about your own thoughts. So even though if we don't sit together, come together and sit together and practice, but still if you can do it in your own time, at morning, during the daytime and at night, it'll have an effect in your house, inside the house, to the neighbors, to the village, in the country, the whole world. And if you want, as the Buddhist Mahavihara is a very powerful organization, you all can organize this type of meditations. And I'm quite happy to come and help you to conduct that. So everyone come together, log in at the same time, and we all meditate, emanating this love, the kindness, the compassion, and that peaceful vibrations will have an effect. So I guess as Buddhists, this is what we can do at a time like this, when there is so much of environmental calamities and there's so much of war and terrorism, and this pandemic with corona is ravaging. I guess instead of feeling hopeless, we can do something about all this. Use your mind, the mind power, the pure thoughts have the best. So let's develop these pure thoughts and help the environment and help others. And in turn, when we help others, what will happen is it will help you to have a peaceful and happy heart, and will be able to live in the midst of these calamities peacefully and happily. So I hope that I have said at least something or one thing that for you to take home and for you to think over and over, and for you to be able to change the way you're going and be able to incorporate something into your day-to-day life and help others, and in turn help yourself. So we all can live a stress-free life, a peaceful and a happy life, and we can leave a good place for the future generation. And you also can help lead the future generation to live with the heart with full of love, understanding, kindness, and compassion. So we all can live like brothers and sisters. So I wish you all the best, and it's night for you as well. So good night, and wish you all the best. And I hope this Dhamma discussion had helped you to deepen your understanding and clarify some of your questions and help you to advance in the path to selflessness. May you all be well, comfortable, peaceful, and happy. And I wish you all to attain Nibbana as soon as possible. So if you have any questions, please ask. It's time for you now. If you have any questions, you can use this time to ask questions. Brother Leslie, is there any questions?
Thank you, Bhikkhuni. At the moment, I don't see any questions, but there are some people who wanted us to share the videos, so I will email them, and I've given them the email address to share it to. And let me check. I don't see, I don't see any questions. But I think it must be late for you, Bhikkhuni. It's now almost 1 hour 45 minutes of Dhamma sharing,
Yes.
and this is excellent. It was an excellent sharing, and I personally learned something today. And the fact that that video that you had shown, it is really effective. It's scientifically proven now that metta meditation actually works. Scientifically, it's proven. I think what your suggestion of us trying to organize something that can probably affect our lives or change the world even, I will take that up with the committee and we will consider how we are going to do this online. Um, but I'm sure there are also other organizations. There's an organization that does the 24-hour metta meditation series around the world, through Bhante Mahinda, I think, if not mistaken. But we will also consider organizing something similar. Now seeing that the results are going to be positive, Bhikkhuni.
Of course, it will affect start from the vihara, from your house, the
Yeah.
neighborhood, to Malaysia, and to the whole world.
Yeah, because even
More
here,
people
in Malaysia, we are having all kinds of calamities, both
Yeah.
natural and unnatural. So, as you mentioned about flooding and political upheavals and whatever. So, yes,
Yeah.
and also the coronavirus as well. It's affecting everyone really. So, yes, I will consider this and bring it up to the committee management. So, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. Bhikkhuni, could you just do the Anumodana before we end? Conduct the
Yes.
Anumodana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so much merits for inviting me, and special thank goes to Brother Leslie and to the Buddhist Mahavihara committee and to all the Bhantes, and would like to share these merits with the departed friends, relatives, and especially with Bhante late Dr. Kesri Dhammananda Thero, and also with late Dr. Bhante Punyaji, and also all the other monks and the nuns who have done so much to the Buddha Sasana, to the Brixfield Buddhist Mahavihara, and to uplift the Buddha Sasana. May they all share these merits. If they are in a place where they can rejoice these merits, may they be able to partake, and may they be able to gladden their minds, and may they find peace and happiness wherever they are, and may these merits help them to attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Also, let's share the merits with all our departed relatives and friends, and all the Dayakas and Dayikas, and the ones that who are not with us anymore. May they also find comfort, may they also find peace and happiness from wherever they are. May they partake in these merits, and may these merits help them to uplift their existence, and then one fine day may they also be able to attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Let's keep that loving kind thought. And also let's share these merits with the Devas. May the Devas rejoice in these merits. May they protect us and long protect the Buddha Sasana, the Buddha's dispensation. And one fine day, may these merits bring causes and conditions for them also to attain Nibbana. And also, let's share these merits with all beings. May all beings benefit from these merits. And may they also find liberation from suffering and attain the bliss of Nibbana as soon as possible. Also, let's make that aspiration that may these merits bring causes and conditions for all of us to not to find any association with the wicked and the foolish, but to find the association with the good and the wise, the Kalyana Mittas, until we attain Nibbana. So keep that aspiration in the mind. And also, let's make the wish that may these merits bring causes and conditions for us to be able to penetrate into the Four Noble Truths and to be able to understand the Dhamma and to be able to live by the Dhamma and to attain the bliss of Nibbana and achieve that in this very life if possible. Keep that good aspiration in the mind and just aim for the Nibbana in this very life, and may you find that. So with all that, I also would like to share the merits with the Nayaka Hamadru at Buddhist Mahavihara, and also with Brother Leslie and with all the committee members and with all the Dayakas and the supporters and the volunteers, and also all of you who have logged in today. May all of you and your parents, your teachers, your family members, your children, your grandchildren, your relatives, your friends, may all of you find good health and long life. May you all be protected. May you all be safe. And may these merits bring causes and conditions for you to find success in your studies and your work or the righteous work that you do. And also may all of your good aspirations come true. And also would like to wish all of you that one fine day, may you all attain Nibbana. May these merits bring causes and conditions for all of you to experience the bliss of Nibbana in this very life. So may you all be well, comfortable, peaceful, and happy. Sukhi hotu, Teruan Saranai, Abhivadana Siddhisa. Niccang Buddha Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvarno Sukham Balang Ayurarogi Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samejjatu. Supatseva Sukhi Hotu. May you all be well and happy. Have a good night. Teruan Saranai. So much merits for you.
Thank you, Bhikkhuni. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the Committee of Management and the monks at the Buddhist Mahavihara, we thank you, and we are really gracious and happy and grateful for you to be able to share your Dhamma knowledge with us. We always look forward to your Dhamma sharings, and we look forward to having you at Buddhist Mahavihara. If once this pandemic is over, then everyone can travel again, and we gladly accept your invitation to join us here at the Buddhist Mahavihara. And on behalf of the Committee of Management, thank you once again. To our sponsors this evening, thank you for sponsoring this evening's Dhamma sharing to enable this to happen and to allow other people to also share this Dhamma sharing with the world today. And to those of you who have joined in, even though it's early compared to our normal time of 8:30, thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing you this Sunday, where we have another Dhamma speaker, this time from Hawaii, Bante Dr. Chandana, who will be joining us at 8:30 p.m. At our normal time. So with that, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. Thank you, and Sukhi Hotu, and good night, everyone.